If you visit theme parks, you know they're often busy, crowded, noisy. Sometimes you just need a break. Here are my favorite obscure, out of the way, quiet places at the parks I worked at. So, working 10 years at Walt Disney World at all four of the parks, as well as Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and Busch Gardens, I learned a few nice little hiding places at the parks where I could go get a break, get a little bit of quiet, whether I was visiting or if I had a little time off and I could sneak out of my civilian clothes. With all the noise in the park, sometimes you just need that quiet place. And every park out there has one somewhere. It's just a matter of figuring out where it is. So here are a few clues to help you find some. Now, a couple of these places may not be there anymore due to remodeling, new attractions, and various things like that. But these are the ones that my family and I like to kind of scope out, sit down for a while, rest, relax, and just watch what was going on. I'm going to start off over at Epcot, which actually has a handful of places. Epcot is one of those places that there are so many places to see, so many different places you can go, so many nooks and crannies and hidden places throughout the World Showcase that there's a lot of places that could go on this list. But there were a couple that I really especially liked going to just take a breath and unwind. One was actually over at the Canada Pavilion. If you go all the way up past the Yukon store and then down the other side, there's a waterfall there. This is the entrance to the movie theater that a lot of people don't know is back there, but it's just a nice place to go, take a seat, relax, watch the waterfall, hear the noise of the water. In fact, there's even a walkway that goes in front of the waterfall and out towards the gardens. And I'd love to just kind of hang on that walkway. And on the one side's the waterfall, the other side's the gardens. And it was just a great place to relax, take a deep breath. There weren't a whole lot of people that went by there. When I was working as a photographer, it was actually a great place to get pictures as well, because you didn't have people walking in the way. And you got some beautiful pictures. But it's also a great spot to just relax. Another one is a little further on a World Showcase in the Japan Pavilion. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually go up behind the waterfall and the pond, and that there is actually a whole little garden up there. There's a little sushi restaurant too, which is okay, but those gardens are just wonderful to just kind of walk around. You almost feel like you're not in the park anymore because, again, there's not a lot of people, and just sit and relax and watch the koi swim and enjoy the quiet solitude. It's a great place to take a breather. My second park is Animal Kingdom. And again, Animal Kingdom has a lot of nooks and crannies and places to go. I've got three that I really enjoyed. One is actually even a place to eat. The Flame Tree BBQ is actually my favorite place to eat at Animal Kingdom for two reasons. One, it's actually really good barbecue, and I like barbecue. It's got some really good food. But the thing that really sells it to me is when you pick up your food and you take your tray over to the dining areas, they're all cut off from the path. They're little secluded areas. You've got several benches in them. But if you don't stop at the first couple like everybody seems to, make your way down towards the water. There are a couple dining pavilions down there that tend to be much quieter. There's not as many people in them, and it's got the best view of all of them. It's a wonderful place to just, again, sit and enjoy the views of most of the park from it. You can't beat the view. The birds are there, don't feed the birds. And just enjoy your meal and your time out. I also really like the paths that go around the dinosaur ride. There's several hidden paths in there where you can go see dinosaurs and in the jungles. A lot of people don't walk around those, and so they tend to be very quiet and secluded. There's also the walking paths around the Tree of Life. Most people know about the ones right by Tough to Be a Bug and its entrance and exit, and a couple spots towards the front of the tree. But there are actually several paths that go all the way around behind it as well. And just, again, they tend to be quiet. They give you some very unique views of the tree, and it gets you kind of out of the way of everybody else for a little bit. If you want to have a nice view, something interesting to do while being quiet, go check out the paths around the Tree of Life. So jumping up to Missouri, Silver Dollar City is a beautiful park in the middle of the Ozark Woods. Just a gorgeous place. It feels like the whole park is kind of set aside in the middle of nowhere, but it does tend to be busy, and there aren't a whole lot of places that you can go hide. But there is one that I do especially like. If you go down to the lumber camp area, where again, lots of trees, several nice restaurants, it's not far from American Plunge and Wildfire. But if you actually go to the lumber camp restaurant, it's a quick service one, and then walk around behind it, there's actually a little dining area back out there and this beautiful waterfall, and a lot of people don't know it's there. It tends to be quiet. You can watch the people heading up to Wildfire and American Plunge. You can enjoy the water, and you can enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet away from everybody else. So there's a great one at Silver Dollar City if you need to get away. Jumping back over to Disney, over at Hollywood Studios, I actually have two places. One that's easy to get into, and one not so much. One is actually an overlooked attraction that I'm amazed how many people don't go in and see this thing, but because they don't, it ends up being a quiet place to get away. And that's Walt Disney Presents. There's often a character meet and greet that's at the end when they're doing character meet and greets. And there's all sorts of different displays about the history of the Disney studios and creating the Disney animated movies and a lot of things like that. But it also tends to be quiet, even on the busiest of days. There's not a lot of people that go in. I've actually gone in and seen people that are just kind of camping in a corner and just relaxing and taking some breath because there's not people there, and so they're not in the way. Don't forget to check out Walt Disney Presents, especially if you need a little bit of a break. The other one you can't always get to. I ask sometimes and they will let me, and that's actually in the queue area for Tower of Terror. Most of the time, they're using most of the queue, but there is a couple winding paths that actually go out into the gardens and back around. And sometimes those parts of the queue are actually closed for the guests. They're not using it as the line. But if the chain is down and people aren't lined up in it, or even if it's up, ask the cast member. There's some really neat little things hidden in that garden, and I've gotten permission a couple times to just go sit in the queue area, sit on the side and relax, and just look around. They may not let you. There's a very good chance they won't let you, but it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst they can tell you is no. And it gives you a neat opportunity to kind of look around at some other things and watch everybody getting in line for the best ride in the, well, used to be the best ride in the park. Now, of course, there's Rise of Resistance and Runaway Railway. Well, it's still an amazing ride. Jumping over to the other side of Florida at Busch Gardens, I don't know that my place I enjoyed is still there, but it was an amazing place. If you've never been to Busch Gardens, it started off as a brewery, and then around it they built a bunch of gardens, hence the name, and they had all sorts of bird gardens and everything else, and then they built the rest of the park around it, but many of those original gardens are still there. Now, when they built Gwazi, the wood roller coaster that used to be there and is now being replaced by Iron Gwazi, there used to be a place where you could walk through the gardens and then take this little spur that went up on the side of Gwazi, and that was where they had the Bald Eagle Rescue Center, the Eagle's Roost. And nobody knew it was there. It was a fantastic place to just get away from everybody and go sit and relax. You walk past the brewery, so if you wanted to drink, you could pick it up on the way, but we enjoyed just going to sit. You could watch Gwazi and hear the noise from it, but it wasn't that bad, and it was a wonderful place. I don't know if with the new Iron Gwazi, if they still have it there, if they've moved the Eagles, or what happened, but that was probably our favorite place as a family to just get away out of the park while being in the park for a little while. I hope it's still there. Let me know in the comments below if it's there, or if they've moved it, or if it's just gone with the whole new coaster, because I don't know. Before I get to the Magic Kingdom in Florida, I want to give a couple honorable mentions to the original Magic Kingdom, Disneyland out in California, because it has a couple places too. Now, one is going to cost you a pretty penny to get into, and that's the Blue Bayou. I love the Blue Bayou. The atmosphere is unbeatable. I mean, just with the whole night setting by the swamp, watching the boats go by, Even when it's busy, it doesn't feel busy. It feels quiet and relaxed and secluded. The Blue Bayou is probably my favorite place to eat at Disneyland because of that. But yeah, it's not cheap. So what do you do if you want a break at Disneyland that's going to be a whole lot cheaper to get into? Look for Snow White's Grotto. This is something a lot of people miss. It's over on the side of the castle, and this is actually something that Walt put in. There's little statues of all of the dwarves there. A couple nice little spots that you can just sit, stand, relax for a little bit. It's off the walkway. People don't know it's there, and you can just relax and enjoy it. It's just a really pretty little nook right there that people don't know about. So look for Snow White's Grotto. And last, hopping over to the Magic Kingdom in Florida, I've got two different places. One again being a restaurant, and the other one right in the middle of everything, but not. The restaurant is the Pinocchio Village House. This might have changed names with the retheming, but basically it is the restaurant right next to It's a Small World, and there are actually windows there that look right onto the ride. You can get your food, you can walk over to these tables by the ride, and just sit. Now, it is a quick service eatery, so it does tend to be busy. The noise level is up a little bit, but how cool is it to sit there and just watch the boats floating by on the It's a Small World ride and seeing that happen? It is a very nice, relaxing restaurant for me. So be sure to check that out. The other one that I really like, right in the middle of everything, and how many people miss this blows me away, is Center Street, right on Main Street. If you didn't notice, and a lot of people don't, when you walk down Main Street, it's split up into two blocks. And right in the middle of it, there is this short little alleyway. That's Center Street. There's a number of tables that are sitting there. The silhouette person is usually right by it. It's quiet. Nobody knows it's there. There's actually a couple really cute Easter eggs that you could listen for and check out. But it's a great place to just kind of sit and watch everybody going up and down Main Street while you're out of the way and enjoying a little bit of quiet. You see it, but you don't hear it so much, even though you're almost right in the middle of it. It's a great spot. Check out Center Street at Magic Kingdom. When you need a break, you won't be sorry. So there are my hidden little places, my out-of-the-way go-to spots when I need a break and a rest, or I just want to people watch or relax. Which ones do you like and would recommend? I'd love to hear them. Share them in the comments below because everybody's always looking for something like that. What is your neat little hidden secret place of the parks? I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and share the video. I know there's a lot of Disney fans out there and people new to the parks who want to know stuff. So hit that share button. Thank you so much as well to my patrons, my YouTube members, my financial supporters. They help make videos like this possible with providing the means to get all that footage that you see. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, be sure to check the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. If you visit the parks, I'm going to start off, Epcot has so many different places. Try that again. My favorite place to eat in the park is the Flame Tree. I love my phone going off. Stop. Spammers. Okay. So before I get to the Magic Kingdom, I want to give a couple honorable mentions to the original Do you have some that... Do you have... I'm here. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.